Cloudcast Media.
Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show, amplifying the voices of social impact organizations, entrepreneurs, local nonprofits, and other community champions who shape the culture, creativity, and connectivity of San Diego. Brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union, bringing good things to San Diego for over 60 years. Learn more about what is good for you and good for all by visiting www.missionfed.com.
I'm Drew Schlosberg of Cloudcast Media. Going to be listening to another edition of Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show. We've been doing this for 20 years, the nation's longest running community podcast. Very proud of that. And of course, we're equally proud as our sponsor has been Mission Fed Credit Union. 60 years of doing phenomenal things in our region, whether it's food insecurity, working with the homeless, Alzheimer's, financial support for key nonprofits. They are on top of their game with all these wonderful causes. Honored to have in the studios on the other side of the mic today is Nick Rinell, American Public University System adjunct faculty, Dr. Wallace E, of Boston School of Business. He's the president of the AMU-APU chapter of Student Veterans of America. So, Nick, I got you on the other side of the aisle today, huh?
Yeah, it's a little bit interesting to sit on this side of the table now.
You did a great job co-hosting earlier. It's always an honor when my business partner and colleague Charles Parisi, the founder and CEO of Cloudcast Media, is in the house. How you doing there, Charles?
I am doing fantastic. Nice to be not only sitting across from Nicholas, but to also have sat in on his last hosting. What a beautiful episode with adapted athletics at San Diego State.
Yeah, they were truly inspirational individuals, just what they've gone through and how they're performing at such high levels, and all the work the team is doing to support them is amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, Charles, why don't you kick us off with some questions for Nick?
Well, I got a couple of questions for you. And Drew, do you mind if I kind of pick up on?
Please do.
Because Nicholas, one of the things, let me talk to the audience out there. Every time I'm coming across Nicholas, it's always, what can I do? What can I do? What can I do? And the last episode that you hosted with San Diego State, Adapted Athletics, as the episode was wrapping up, you immediately said, hey, have you ever done this at Pendleton? Talk about that and reflect on why that's just in you naturally to what can I do, what can I do, what can I do?
So I brought up the Wounded Warrior Battalion at Pendleton with Adapted Athletics because they've got a great team there that's already doing so much. They're running Paralympic events. They're helping injured Marines get back into it, whether that's returning them to full duty or just helping them move on to what's next in their life. And they've built so much around athleticism and sports into that program that hearing what SDSU Adapted Athletics was doing, it was just a natural fit to say, are you working with Wounded Warrior Battalion? Because the Marines would love it, I'm sure, to get out there and work with them and just be a part of that.
Yeah, and I think, and you're spot on, Charles, on this. Just some people have it in their DNA that it's natural. And Nick's one of these guys. It's like, without having to be prompted on anything, it is, what can I do? Way before anyone's even thinking about, Nick, can you help out in this aspect of it? So we really appreciate that as well. But it was no surprise as why you are doing what you do. Talk a little bit about your adjunct faculty work at Dr. Wallace E. Boston School of Business.
So, yeah, I teach 3 undergrad classes there, business basics, leading in the technology age, and principles of e-commerce. And I started teaching in the military, just picking it up as you go. I started trading my time, actually, to get my Marines seats into classes. So I would offer to help teach in exchange for a couple of seats for my Marines to go to. And then as time went on and I finished my MBA at AMU, a position opened up, and I was like, well, I've enjoyed teaching so much already. Let's see what it's like to teach a more diverse population. So last summer I applied, and I actually took the interview from Aviemore, Scotland, because I was on a family trip, which my wife probably holds against me a little bit. But it's been so much fun to teach adult learners and help watch them grow throughout the 8 weeks that I have them in class, and how much they change in the way that they interact with each other and the way that they think about and research topics to make the environment more fun.
We're very grateful, Charles and I, for American Military University. They're the sponsor of our Mission San Diego Military Show. And Charles just did some research, as he does, in this world, and came across AMU. And the next thing you know, he's got a relationship with the president and as a sponsor of our show. And, of course, that's how we ran into you. But talk about how important AMU is to you in your life, whether it's as a teacher or just personal.
So AMU has just been amazing to me. I started with them to work on my MBA, and then Lauren, who Charles has met, emailed me. I think she emailed everybody in the chapter for Student Veterans of America, asking for somebody to help lead the chapter because it was about to be shut down. So I wrote back and said, hey, like, what positions do you have open, and how can I help? So we went through elections. I was elected as the chief financial officer for the organization, and 6 months later, I was the president. That's a whole separate story that we could spend a long time on how that particularly played out. But then that first year, I was nominated for and won Outstanding Campus Leader of the Year. So I got to go to D.C. to graduation, meet Nuno, who I think Charles just cold called
I did indeed.
to get the Mission San Diego sponsorship.
He did.
But AMU just keeps showing up for service members nonstop is really the biggest thing. They are trying to make education as accessible and affordable for service members as possible so that the service members can get not only higher critical thinking skills, but points towards promotion. They can improve their evaluations from their supervisors, and they can develop some of those soft skills that just make them better at simple things like writing an email that nobody really teaches you how to do until you go to college and you start learning a little bit and getting on. So AMU has helped me so much there, and it's continuing to help so many other people around the country, around the globe, honestly. I have students logging in from all over the globe to participate in discussions and submit assignments to me.
Yeah, and Drew, I think the one thing let me add, American Military University, part of APUS, it's pretty incredible because we're talking about an organization that doesn't necessarily invest a bunch of money in TV, radio, and print and blowing up the brand and doing marketing, but somehow, some way, the product stood on its own because you don't become the number one educator to the military community by having an inferior product. So clearly AMU has crushed it. That's how you become number one. Mm-hmm. We're so happy to have them involved with Cloudcast. Hey, by the way, this is kind of cool, Drew. They're the number one military educator. We're the national leader in local podcasting, and SDMAC is the number one organization in San Diego for the military. So it's natural that three number ones would be aligned.
It is.
So speaking of alignment, I'm going to ask you a question.
Okay.
Because someone like you that has a certain core, a DNA of giving back and helping and lifting, you gravitate to, I'm imagining, similar organizations. So what is it about Student Veterans of America and AMU that align, that had this synchrony with you?
So for me, it was that we were all working towards making education better for service members and veterans. So AMU making it affordable and accessible, and then Student Veterans of America pushing national legislation and making it just better and easier for veterans to become students and be successful as students as they take the uniform off and move into the next chapter of their life. So all that coming together just really, really tied it together for me.
Yeah, and by the way, Drew, because I know she's going to be listening to this episode, he mentioned Lauren, and Lauren is spectacular, although I'm not talking to her currently. But she is spectacular. It's an inside joke. Nicholas knows what I'm talking about.
Did you do something to irritate her with the Knicks victory?
No, it had something to do with Richard Simmons, and I don't want to go into it on the air.
Okay, all right.
But it had something to do with Richard Simmons. But I know she's going to be listening to, and she is a phenomenal, phenomenal asset even though I'm not talking to you at the moment, Laura.
Well, you're talking to Nick, and that is the Nick we're talking about is Nick Rinell.
Exactly.
He is the AP US American Public University System Adjunct Faculty at Dr. Wallace E. Boston School of Business. Also, president, as mentioned earlier, the AMU APU chapter of Student Veterans, of America. I'm Drew Schlosberg of Cloudcast Media, listening to another edition of Drew Schlosberg's Spotlight on the Community Show, nation's longest-running community podcast in our 20th year, brought to you by the fine folks of Mission Federal Credit Union. Talk a little bit about SVA, and what it does for the veterans and so forth.
So yeah, at the national level, SVA is a 501c3 that advocates for improved legislation to make being a student as a veteran easier.
Right.
They also offer just career coaching, mental health services. They've got a program called the Career Closet where you can go and rent or buy clothing to interview and start working before you really get your first paycheck and can afford to go spend money on a tailor or anything really fancy. They've also got, right now, they're running Google Career certificates. So I'm actually participating in one of them. They got 3,000. There's right around 1,500 left to be used. So I'm in digital marketing and e-commerce right now, working with, and it's all done by Google. Google staff are running that course. So it's really just, they have so many opportunities and things that they put on to help veterans succeed. Everything from a leadership institute in the fall, Washington Week in the spring, where they actually get to go and watch Congress and advocate on behalf of veterans, NatCon in January, where they bring veterans from all around the world together and offer a career fair and breakout sessions. They're just doing so much to help student veterans that it's amazing.
Drew, we're talking about an organization, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, Nicholas, 600,000 members nationally?
I don't know the actual national number, but that sounds about correct. Our chapter runs right around the 3,000 member mark. So,
if you add it up nationally,
yeah,
it's a huge organization.
Yeah. I want to go back in time a little bit. You joined the military when?
2003.
2003. Family in the military?
I did, yes. My grandfather was a Marine during the Korean War. Then both my grandfather and my mom were in the Minnesota Air National Guard. So I grew up around the military.
Right. So you grew up around the military. It is 2003 you started, right? Now that's 23 years from now. Did you think you'd be doing this 23 years when you signed up in 2003, that you'd be an adjunct faculty member, you'd be working with Cloudcast Media, you'd be co-hosting shows, you'd be doing everything in between?
No. To be honest, I had to go and do private tutoring to pass math to graduate high school. So thinking that sometime in the future I was going to be teaching at the collegiate level was never in the realm of possibilities for me.
We come back from break. I want to talk more about that, about some leadership. I know Charles has other questions for you as well with AMU and you personally on that. And we always like to leave some time at what advice would you give to people? Here you are. You started this journey in 2003. The bottom line is you never know where it's going to end up. And here you are, on this rocket ship. We'll return with Nick Rinell. He's the adjunct faculty member, Dr. Wallace E. Boston School of Business, part of the American Public University System and AMU APU chapter president. I'm Drew Schlosberg of Cloudcast Media, and we're brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union. We'll be right back after this short break.
When you do your banking with Mission Fed, you get great rates on auto and home loans. That's good for you, but something good also happens for a lot of other people. We're not for profit, so we put money back into the community to help lots of great nonprofits to keep San Diego strong. So you're not just getting something good, you're doing something good. Come to Mission Fed. It's banking that's good for all.
Brand amplification is the DNA of Cloudcast Media, and our code is the powerful blending of sound, voice, and storytelling to lift local brands and their communities. Whether it is our Brandcast, Schoolcast, or Causecast platforms, The unifying ethos is all about this community, the one you call home. If you dare to dream and want to explore the brand amplification of Cloudcast, a national leader in local podcasting and other Winfluence strategies, please visit us at cloudcast.us.
I'm Drew Schlosberg of Cloudcast Media, listening to another edition of Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show. We are the nation's longest-running community podcast, honored to be sponsored by Mission Fed Credit Union, more than 6 decades, just doing great things for such important causes all throughout our San Diego County community. Our good friend Nick Rinell, he is an adjunct faculty member of Dr. Wallace E. Boston School of Business as part of the American Public University System, and he's the chapter president of AMU, APU, and Student Veterans of America, joined by my business partner, Charles Parisi. He is the founder and CEO of Cloudcast Media. Charles, what other questions do you have for Nick?
I got a question for you, because I really want the world to know you better, because it's, again, I'm always over impressed how you're always trying to help lift as many folks as possible. So you've had a variety of firsts in your life. First day in the military, first day as a teacher, first day as a father. Talk about each one of them.
Well, the first day in the military was at Marine Corps Recruit Depot, San Diego. So that was just pure culture shock. Getting yelled at just for being alive. Get off my bus.
Those famous words.
Right.
You still remember it very well?
I do, yes. We were just talking about it recently. Laying in the rack, watching the planes take off. That's the worst part, because you're right there next to San Diego Airport. So you can lay in bed at night and you're watching your way home just fly away, and you're like, well, it could be that simple. Just say no. But you just keep showing up every day, right?
But you keep showing up.
My first day as a father, that was just completely overwhelming to hold my daughter and just see her, and think, my wife just went through 9 months of building this human that I now get to hold and just watch grow up. That was wild.
So you're a girl's dad.
I am. I'm a girl dad. I've learned how to French braid hair.
You're a Swiftie too, aren't you?
I do like Taylor Swift. Yeah, she's
so there's a reason why Charles made that comment. Charles and I are both absolutely. I don't know what to call it. We are girls' dads, of course, to the nth degree and all that business. My daughter is very fond of Charles because Charles knows every single Taylor Swift song, and I know none of them. And so, my daughter just got married a week ago.
Okay,
and,
congratulations.
Thank you very much. And Charles, of course, was like one of the first people. She said, he's coming to the wedding. Whether you come or not, Drew, is up to you. And of course, and it was wonderful on it. And we consider, now that you're a girl dad, it's a very special moniker in this aspect of yours. Is 11 now.
Yes.
Celebrated her birthday in Las Vegas, correct?
That's correct. Yeah.
Yeah. That's terrific. What was the other first thing you were mentioning?
First day as an educator, a teacher in a room, trying to dispel knowledge.
So which time?
The first time, very first.
The first time stepping in front of a room and being the
teacher.
One asked to be in charge of this was just so overwhelming. Being trusted to impart the material to young students. It was a Lean Six Sigma Yellow Belt course in Okinawa, Japan. And it was, like I said, I traded my services for my Marines to get seats. And so I was asked to provide the introduction. So you're warming up the class for everything that's going to come in now. So if you fail, you've lost the class for the next 2 days. It was a 2-day course that we were running. And if you mess it up, it's done. So I remember just sitting there.
Were you nervous?
Incredibly so. The night before, I was just constantly rehearsing the material and wondering what kind of anecdotes and stories I was going to tell. And I told them the story about when I was in that class and got to play with Legos for a day, because, who doesn't want to just get paid to go play with Legos all day?
So is there a bit of a unifying lesson you've learned through each of those first?
Show up. Just show up and do your best every time. And if you do it enough, you're probably going to be successful at some point.
Mm-hmm.
But showing up is important.
So, Nick, let me ask you a question here. For those folks that are out in the audience that don't know, they've just joined the Marine, the very first thing they've heard is get off my bus. You're thinking, what the heck have I done on this aspect of it? Talk about perseverance and talk about leadership.
So perseverance as a Marine is really, like I just said, just keep showing up. I always joke with the Marines, all you have to do is be here on time and in a uniform. As a very young Marine, if you've got that down, you're going to be okay. Worst case scenario, you were in the wrong uniform and we're going to yell at you and tell you to go change. And then you just get to go change and come back. As you grow up and you start moving into leadership positions, every promotion brings about more and more responsibility and more service.
Mm-hmm.
If you're doing it right, you're showing up and you're serving your Marines and helping them become better versions of themselves.
So how can our audience support what you're doing and the organizations you work with?
The best thing they can do to support Student Veterans of America is to donate and become involved. So a lot of the work that they do is by partnering with other veteran service organizations, the VFW, the American Legion, and going to advocate for veterans benefits at the national level. Because when we change the laws, it trickles down and it helps us out.
Is there a website?
You can go to sva.org is the best place to see how to get involved with the Student Veterans of America.
Well, listen, this won't be the last time you'll be on. You'll be on many times. They're co-hosting a spotlight show. I know Charles has you involved with some of the other things as well. And Nick, it's been an absolute honor to work with you on the other side of the mic and on the side you're on right now. And just let us know whatever we can do to support your efforts. We'll be with you shoulder to shoulder.
Thank you so much, Drew. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Nick Rinell is adjunct faculty member at Dr. Wallace E. Boston School of Business, president of the AMU chapter of Student Veterans. As always, Charles Parisi, enjoy you on the co-host seat.
Thank you so much for letting me sit across from Nick and join you.
Absolutely. And to our audience, we hope you enjoyed the interview.
You've been listening to an episode of Drew Schlosberg's Spotlight on the Community Show, amplifying the voices of social impact organizations, entrepreneurs, local nonprofits, and other community champions who shape the culture, creativity, and connectivity of San Diego community. Brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union, bringing good things to San Diego for over 60 years. Learn more about what is good for you and good for all by visiting www.missionfed.com.